What's up, people? This is the Quant Edge Video Series, presented, of course, by Fantasy Sports Markets. He's my guy, Derek Brown. I'm Ben Heisler. If you have not read Derek's 10 stats you need to know to win Week 2 over at thequantedge.com, where have you been? You got to get it. It's over at thequantedge.com. What else are you working on this week?
Oh, man. So I'm currently writing up wide receiver cornerback matchups to target for Week 2, and there are some great ones on this slate, Benny.
All right, I'm excited for it. Don't forget to get your lineups in over at fantasysportsmarkets.com. Use that promo code TQE below for $5 for free. It's time for another edition of Would You Rather. We had a lot of fun with this last week, going through some of the tough cash game decisions that are all very close to each other. We like all these guys, but we have to decide who we'd rather play. So, Debro, let's start at the quarterback spot. You have Big Ben at home, a bounce-back opportunity for him at Pittsburgh against Seattle, or Jared Goff in an intriguing matchup, that revenge game looming for the Saints, but Goff is at home. So Big Ben at home, Jared Goff at home. The home road splits have always favored both these guys when they're at home. So who do you go with?
Man, I think I'm probably going to go to Big Ben this week. I mean, you're looking at a Seattle pass defense that just made Andy Dalton look like the GOAT. I mean, I think that was a career high in passing yards. So Big Ben is just going to eviscerate. He is going to slice and dice and cut them in half this week.
I'm going to go with Big Ben as well. I like the matchup, particularly against Seattle. You're right. Their secondary did not look good. And as good as Seattle has been historically in the month of September at home, they've also been pretty abysmal on the road. So I think this is a good indication for Big Ben to get himself back on track. I think him and Juju Smith-Schuster is a terrific pairing, but maybe a sleeper that you bring out in one of your articles this week. Also a Pittsburgh wide receiver, could be in line for a big game as well. Meanwhile, at the running back spot, two guys that sort of had very contrasting week ones. Austin Eckler was one of the stars of week one. He was dominant at home in the passing game against the Indianapolis Colts. He goes on the road to take on Detroit. And then you have Sony Michele in what looks to be just a super matchup on the road at Miami, where they're likely to be more run dominant because they'll probably get up on the Dolphins very early. But can you trust Sony Michele? So Austin Eckler in the passing game, Sony Michele at the running back spot against Miami. Which one do you like more?
Oh, it's Eckler. It's Eckler all day for me. And I think the knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people in this week is going to be, okay, do I play Sony? We know the total is. We know how much it's slated to go towards the Patriots. And, is it a Sony smash week where they just run? But as much as I think that Sony's going to get the volume, dude, Eckler is going to absolutely eat in this game. I mean, look, you have concentration for passing targets in this one. With Hunter Henry now out, Mike Williams is banged up. If he misses this game, hell, even if he doesn't miss the game, we're talking about a team that is going to run their passing offense through Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler. So it's Eckler for me.
I will go with Eckler as well, but it's not necessarily based on the matchup. It's based on Hunter Henry being out. And I wish I know who put out this tweet. Frankly, it could have been you. I don't remember. But they were talking about the indication of what happens when Chargers tight ends are out and the correlation between that and the passing game for running backs for the Chargers and how they have gone consistently up year in and year out. I think last year was over 28% of passes going to the running backs with a tight end.
Third highest in the league, Benny.
Third highest in the league. So if you're talking about Austin Eckler already getting peppered with targets last week while Hunter Henry was there and playing well, if he's going to be even more a part of the passing game again, I think Austin Eckler has to be the guy. I like the matchup for Michel, and I think this is a great bounce-back opportunity for him, but I'm all in on Eckler, especially in PPR formats when you're playing DFS. Wide receiver. This is probably, I think, the toughest toss-up of the week, and one that I think a lot of fantasy sports markets players are going to be going with as far as how to get through this dilemma. Maybe you play both, but who do you side between Deandre Hopkins coming off a monster game on Monday night? He is at home against Jacksonville and Jalen Ramsey. Or do you go with Michael Thomas on the road versus the Rams? We know that Drew Brees has struggled away from the Superdome in the last few years, but it's still Michael Thomas in a high-volume game. So between Hopkins and Michael Thomas, which one do you like more?
I mean, it's hard to ever bet against DeAndre Hopkins, but that's exactly what I'm going to do here. I'm going Michael Thomas. You look at this game, it is the second highest total on the main slate. This game is going to, what you need for the Saints to get some high-end ceiling out of Michael Thomas is for another team to push the Saints, make them throw like we saw against the Texans. That's going to happen in this game. Michael Thomas is going to eat. We know that there's a history. He is going to take Marcus Peters back to school, toss him in the bus. It's going to happen. Michael Thomas is going to have a smash week.
And they move him around, too. Like, this isn't just Michael Thomas on the outside. They'll move him in the slot. They're very creative in how they use him. It's so tough for me. And again, Jalen Ramsey, who just trashes every wide receiver he goes up against, basically said, DeAndre Hopkins is a cheat code on Madden. He's the toughest guy that I've ever gone up against. But I think Houston might struggle a little bit against Jacksonville. They're coming off of a short week. Hopkins will still probably find his way into the end zone, still probably get 8, 9, 10 targets, but I really expect Michael Thomas to have a big game and a meaningful game for the Saints. Him and Kamara are probably two of our favorite plays on the week.
Absolutely.
Finally, at the tight end spots, you got a pair of W guys with their last name, each coming off of W's last week. You have Darren Waller, the new secret weapon, the Hard Knocks lover boy for a lot of people. He is, they are at home against Kansas City. Or the other DW, Delanie Walker, they are home this week, I believe, against the Colts. Walker caught 2 touchdown passes from Mariota last week. You going with the young, exciting Darren Waller or the old vet in Delanie Walker this week?
I think everybody's going to want to push Waller into their lineups. I think that it's one of those, I'm right, he's good. And he's going to go into so many lineups this week. But look, I'm going old man style. I'm going geriatric. It's all Delanie Walker for me. You cannot ask for a better matchup versus the Colts and their zone defense. Tight ends ate them up last year. And it's going to happen again. I don't care if the Titans only throw 20 times, 25 times. Does not matter. Because I can promise you, Delanie Walker is going to have about a 30% target share. Even if Mariota only chucks the rock 24 times, he's still going to be involved. Because why would he not be? You cannot ask for a better matchup for a tight end this week.
Except the Chiefs' defense is pretty atrocious, and Waller's going to be able to eat. However, you write up in your 10 stats article that of all players that are set to have a big week, Tyrell Williams going against Steve Spagnuolo's zone defense is in line to eat. So I was initially going to go Waller, and then I thought to myself, well, if I'm already looking at Josh Jacobs, if I'm already looking at Tyrell Williams, at some point there's going to be not enough targets to go around. And I think Delanie Walker, especially with how well Mariota looked in week 1 on play action, I think that's the play for me as well. How come we didn't disagree? How come we didn't embrace debate this week?
I don't know. We talk too much, Benny. What can I say?
Well, I guess at least it makes me feel good that I am in line with your thought process. Remember to head over to thequantedge.com, check out D-Bro's articles, and also make sure you read all the outstanding work over there as well. Don't forget to use the promo code POWERHOUR to get you 25% off the entire season, and then run it back with all the different NFL daily fantasy contests with over $220,000 up for grabs at fantasysportsmarkets.com. D-Bro's going to be in the head-to-heads. He might play in some tournaments as well. He's Derek. I'm Ben. Thank you guys for watching. It's the Quant Edge Video Series presented by FSM.